been a long time since I talked about this. Don't like to talk about it ever. Don't like to think about it. You never forget. You never forget stuff. One of the things that I have to live with are the things that these kids said, the generic methodology of the smuggling and the trafficking. But the reality is, as far as trafficking goes, people are horribly mistreated. Okay, women are pulled aside and they're used as sex slaves for the cartels, or they're sold inside the United States and required to work off their debt in impromptu brothels. Children are molested and mistreated. Boys forced to perform fellatio just to humiliate them, just to degrade them, just for fun, just as to pay back the relatives who live illegally in the United States but are sponsoring their child in or whatever. And you never know where these kids are actually going to go. You don't know who they're going to end up with. They come and wait at the border, and supposedly they're going to go stay with a family member. Supposedly it's going to be an uncle or a cousin or somebody they know. Supposedly it's going to be their parents. But along the way, if this person doesn't pay the cartel or the criminal organization, the gang, depending on where in the process they are, enough money, then they get tortured or mistreated or sexually abused, so that the family gets to hear this on the phone call or see this on a video, so that they will pay more money to stop their suffering of their relative, or to then allow them to be free. I mean, I just get mad. I mean, I want to cry. Sometimes I feel like throwing up still when I think about it. I don't like talking about this at all, but mostly I get mad. I get mad at politicians who could fix this but don't. I get mad at people who think this is about race, because it isn't. I get mad at people who believe that it's really not that big a deal. When you have this endless stream of humanity moving along, it is normal for the criminal organizations that manage the flow of humanity, because there's always criminal organizations doing this, it's normal for them to take what they want, and they take women and they take children and they do what they want with them. There's a whole lot of talk from the political left about equality. So why are we allowing people to be victimized in the most horrific ways possible? Okay, you can't segregate the two issues. Human trafficking is fed by human smuggling, and human smuggling happens because we've politicized a normal activity. People move around. That's what happens. People groups move. It's normal to migrate. Migration is normal. Okay? The only thing that makes it different is that we've got governments involved now, and governments live to regulate the people within their borders, and they get in these contests amongst themselves to see who can do what. To directly address the issue, there was a woman that, and this is the only one that I'm going to talk about, because I've seen enough shattered looks on kids' faces that I don't need to talk about that stuff. Okay. Anyway, so this woman had a 13-year-old daughter and smaller children, and so they were being held in a stash house just on the Mexican side of the river. And so this man was going to rape the 13-year-old daughter. He thought it would be fun. She was pretty. And the mom begged him, please, not my daughter, take me instead. So she became the plaything. And you could see when I talked with her the shame of what had happened to her, but at the same time the profound sense of relief that she had spared her daughter this. She was also forced to clean out a hot tub. Okay, and in this hot tub, she found a human femur. She had to scrape off all this like human skin and all these other things. They would fill it with hydrochloric acid and put people in it when their relatives or whoever on the other side in the U.S. weren't paying enough money to get them in, and show videos of this and send it to their family. so that they would pay more money to get their family members in. So yeah, people got put in tubs of hydrochloric acid so that these cartels could have more money to get to move people across into the U.S. And this woman was forced to clean it up because they thought it was funny, you know. And if you didn't pay, they would just basically torture you to death. There was a man from El Salvador that he could do it on his own. He didn't want to pay the cartels. Well, they caught him. The Mexican cartels caught him before he got across. So they just kept him for months and months and months. And anybody that came into the house would beat him, kick him, throw firecrackers at him. They starved him, dehydrated him. They just thought it was fun. You know, we had some very dear friends lost a relative to the cartel. They disappeared this person. And, you know, it took all we had to figure out to confirm that they'd been disappeared. Because the idea is that they don't want you to have closure with a funeral or closure with the knowledge of a confirmed death. So they cut them up, then they burn them in a barrel of diesel. And they just disappeared them. So there's nothing left. Human trafficking is at the core of all this, because human trafficking is what happens when there is no societal regulation of immigration. And migration of people is normal. Immigration should be a very positive thing. Immigration should strengthen a country, okay? But when you politicize it the way it has been, and when you reduce people to numbers, when you reduce them to chattel, okay, then it's criminal organizations that take care of these things, and they do whatever they want. And you can bet your boots that it's going to be stuff that would give you nightmares if it happened to you, leave you with PTSD, that if it happened to one of your family members, you wouldn't sleep well at night.